Here we go, boys. Another day and another UFC connected kind of fighter taking on a lad off YouTube. It's getting crazy now. It's getting crazy. Tyron Woodley is taking on Jake Paul. It's happening on August the 28th. It was kind of in the pipeline, this, Mike, for quite some time because we saw, obviously, Tyron, who was helping Ben Askren prepare for, I don't want to say a fight, but, you know, his charade with Jake Paul. There was a bit in the back room, where there was a bit in the dressing rooms, and it seemed inevitable that this would be Tyron's next step, having parted company with the UFC.
Yeah, it's like the storyline was, okay, you took care of him, now you're going to take care of big brother, one that can actually fight. Because even though the MMA community all supported Ben Askren, it was clearly obvious the man cannot fight his way out of a wet paper bag. Okay, he could wrestle many bags to the floor and keep them there, but nobody wants to see that. So when forced to fight, he got bingoed with one punch by a YouTuber. So, I mean, what is happening right now? Because the world of mixed martial arts has been shamed. All these idiots, all these casuals, boxing fans, YouTubers, they all think MMA fighters suck. Now, so he's taking on Tyron Woodley, a former champion. That ticks all the boxes. But guess what? That former champion has been beaten 4 times in a row. However, Tyron can hit very hard. Tyron is durable. He didn't get knocked out in any of those fights. So it's definitely a tougher fight for Jake Paul. And listen, you can say whatever you want about Jake Paul. Love him or hate him. But God bless the man. Look at what he's doing here. Look at the interest that he's getting, the numbers that he's attracting, the money that he is making on only his 4th professional fight. That is the name of the game. It is prize fighting. You can't hate the man for what he's doing. Love him or hate him, he's being very smart. He's being a very skilled entrepreneur here. And for his 4th ever fight, taking on a former champion, even though he's not a boxer, he's still a fighter. He still knows how to fight. He's still been at the highest level. He's used to that one-on-one environment. I still say this is a ballsy move for Jake Paul, and you've got to respect that.
It is. There's no doubt about that. It is a ballsy move from him. And I know that maybe the financial part of this is maybe the reason why Tyron's having a little bit of a dance with him right now, but it's a bit of a ballsy move as well from Tyron because of all the things, Nick, that he's achieved in his fantastic mixed martial arts career, dominating that welterweight division for such a long period of time, to put his reputation on the line against the kid that used to act on Disney Channel is pretty big.
It's huge, and you know he needs to be careful because you know nobody remembers the fact that Ben Askren was undefeated before he came into the UFC, and Joe Rogan would tell everybody he's probably the best welterweight in the world, and then he came to the UFC and obviously he got knocked out with a flying knee inside a couple of seconds, and that was just the beginning of it all. So those things stick with you. Nobody remembers the good stuff. No one's going to remember Tyron Woodley's reign of terror as a welterweight champion, which, you know, he was being compared to GSP's reign at one point. No one will remember any of that if Jake Paul lands a punch on the chin and Tyron Woodley goes down. But for me, that's the difference. I knew Ben Askren was going to get smoked by him because Ben Askren's got no hands whatsoever. Tyron can take a shot. Okay, he's lost his last 4, but as Mike pointed out, he never got knocked out. The guy can take a shot and he can land a shot. And if Tyron's motivated and if he gets fit and he does a real camp, which I'm sure he will do, unlike Ben, who spent, 25 minutes in the company of, some decent boxing, I think Tyron Woodley will do it properly. He'll spar properly. He knows what's at stake. His legacy's on the line.
Ben Askren showed
20 minutes
up.
with Teddy Roach.
Ben Askren showed up looking like he was at a Weight Watchers meeting. You know what I mean? And listen, I'm not shaming any of those ladies. They're on a journey. They're trying to lose some weight, and that's great. But when you're a professional fighter and you've got multiple extra tires around your waist, shame on you, Ben Askren. You let us all down, my friend.
I thought you were going to get the shame bell out then. I thought you were going to give it the old shame. Have you got it with you?
Shame.
There we go.
Oh, I've always got this ready for you two.
Mike, have you... listen, I know that obviously we've had this conversation in the past, and post-career you've had surgeries and therefore maybe in a different physical condition, would you consider having a dance with someone like a Jake Paul?
I think I would. You know, obviously it would be cooler of me to sit here and say, no, he's beneath me and all the rest of it. But of course, that would be a lie. You know, I mean, I had a good career, I had a good run, I'm retired. If I was up to it, if my vision, if my good eye wasn't at risk, yeah, why not? Why not go test yourself in a new environment? Why not try and make some money and potentially open the doors to another career? And that's what Tyron Woodley's talking about. He's saying, listen, when I get done with Jake Paul, and of course Tyron's always confident, he's a very, very confident man, and that's partly why I had success. Also partly of the reason for his downfall. So he's expecting to go out there and beat Jake Paul in style and then continue boxing with Showtime. So, you know, for Tyron, there's a big opportunity here to start a second career, but he's got to be careful against Jake Paul because, all right, forget all the YouTuber stuff, the man can fight. He knocked out Ben Askren with one punch pretty much, knocked out Nate Robinson. All right, these aren't fighters, but still he's got knockout power. He's applying himself. There's people in the boxing world that stand by him and say, listen, the guy has hands. Remember Zab Judah when he was talking to Dana White? He was all about the skills of Jake Paul. So he's putting in the work. Tyron Woodley's coming into this fight. It's going to be at 190 pounds. Who does that favour? That favours Jake Paul because he's the bigger man, he's the taller guy, he's the longer guy, he's the younger guy. He's getting knockouts, whereas Tyron is losing fights. You know, so the narratives at both ends, they're polar opposites. That doesn't mean that Tyron's not going to be hungry. Doesn't mean he doesn't want to reinvent himself and get back that respect. And it's a difficult position because I think part of the downfall for Tyron, and I say this humbly and I hope he doesn't get mad at me saying this, is that he became a celebrity. You know what I mean? He kind of got distracted with fame and being a rapper and just the whole lifestyle that comes with being a champion of the world. You know, if you don't handle it very carefully, all kinds of cockroaches and hangers-on come out the woodwork and they want to suck away at you and they want to take your money and strip away and just ride off your coattails. And I think Tyron fell victim to that a little bit. All said and done, still a hard worker, still showed up for the fights, still fought with heart and courage, didn't get finished, but he didn't perform. He didn't show up. He did what he normally does and waits for the perfect shot. He can't do that against Jake Paul. Of course, Tyron has one-punch knockout power, and that's what he's banking on. But he's got to be busier. This is a different sport. He's got to use the jab to set things up. He's got to work to the body. He's got to be a boxer. He's got to have head movement. It's a different sport, so he needs to put in the work. One of the main things that Tyron had was the power in the wrestling and the power in the leg kicks, and he could use those to set up the hands. That's all gone. This is a straight boxing match. Paul's the bigger guy. He's the longer guy. He's the younger guy. It's a tough fight for Tyron Woodley, if I'm honest.